Okay, so they just added Dragoon into the game. It's free to obtain. It's broken. I'm sure you know about it. So I have a deck right here that just makes Dragoon and wins the game using only Dragoon. As you can see, we don't even have any other cards other than Dragoon in the extra deck. And in case you are not familiar with what Dragoon does, basically it's unaffected by anything. It cannot be targeted, it cannot be destroyed by card effects, including your own, by the way, so you can't use your Fangwith Chain to equip to your own Dragoon, nor can you use the effect of Sky Striker Ego Booster to try to make it unaffected by anything. And, well, I've learned that the hard way, so don't repeat my mistake. It also can twice per turn destroy a monster without targeting and then burn, and also once per turn discard a card to negate any effect. And not only does it destroy that card, you also gain 1000 attack permanently, so really, really strong. So this entire deck is just basically a pretty cheap Red Eyes deck that makes Dragoon and wins with Dragoon. So we are playing with the one Dark Magician as the material, free Red Eyes Black Dragon as our main starter because the skill makes it a starter. Playing the one fusion, you probably should play 2 if Dragoon is popular in this meta because, well, this card is once per turn, but if the activation gets negated, you can activate a second one, so it can still be full combo even if your opponent negates your first Red Eyes fusion, but I am just playing 1 in this deck, playing free Red Eyes Insight to search the Red Eyes fusion, then playing the one Wyvern for your Red Eyes Insight to send, and it could theoretically revive a Dragoon in the graveyard. We are also playing Red Eyes Spirit to revive Dragoon if it ever ends up in the graveyard, and Return of the Red Eyes just spams a bunch of vanilla Red Eyes Black Dragons to your opponent with. Red Eyes Fangwith Chain, even though it cannot equip to Dragoon, it can equip to your vanilla Red Eyes, so you're still playing a single copy. And for the interesting cards, we're playing 3 copies of Sphere Karibo, just because if your opponent has a larger monster that can beat over Dragoon, you can just use Sphere Karibo to make it in defense when it tries to attack, and then you can just attack over that opponent's monster during your own turn. Also, we're playing 3 copies of this old rare card. World Legacy Clash is not used for the attack reduction effect, even though it is pretty useful because it is permanent and it allows you to beat over pretty much anything. The useful part is that it banishes one face-up monster you control temporarily for cost. So if your opponent somehow has an out to your Dragoon, let's say they're playing Branded and they have Mirror Jade, you can chain World Legacy Clash to their banish effect to temporarily remove Dragoon from your field and then reduce their Mirror Jade's attack. And then during the end phase, your Dragoon comes back, and then you can just get rid of whatever your opponent has in your next turn. So the skill, quickly, let's go over it. So it just basically lets you summon the vanilla Red Eyes from your hand for free, and when you have a Red Eyes monster, it sets a Red Eyes spell trap from your deck, and if you have a vanilla, you draw a card. So that's pretty much it, not too much to talk about. Let's have a look at some replays. Okay, first replay, we're playing against Dark Magician deck. Going first, even though if we go second, it's still not really too big of a deal because Dragoon itself is a pretty good board breaker because it can destroy 2 monsters and then burn for a lot of damage. And as long as your Red Eyes fusion resolves, you can still win the game even in second. And in this case, we're going first, so we don't have to worry about that. You can just activate our copy of Red Eyes Insight, dump a copy of Wyvern, and then grab our fusion, and then our Dragoon, set free, and that's our turn. Remember to always have a card in your hand for you to discard, otherwise you cannot use the negate effect of Dragoon. And also, side note, if you play against a deck that you know has a monster with a higher attack than your Dragoon, sometimes you want to negate your own card effects to boost the attack of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, because you can negate your own effects if you need to, and you get that permanent 1000 attack boost. That can be useful sometimes, but you don't want to negate your opponent's card effects. I don't really know when to interrupt a Dark Magician deck, so I'm just going to negate the Dark Magical Circle. Hope for the best, at least it prevents them from banishing our back row. But as you can see, it doesn't really do too much to stop their combo. They can still make their fusion, and they are going to attempt to make Quintet Magician to wipe our back row and then attack over our Dragoon. But we have the perfect answer to it, and activate Duel Flash, banishing our Vanilla to reduce his attack and also prevent him from popping our Vanilla. So he's gonna be forced to end his turn. Dragon comes back. We cannot destroy it by card effects, but we can still punch over it, and that still is a 4 damage. Okay, second game, we are again going first, and we are playing against another Red Eyes deck, but it is a different kind of Red Eyes deck, playing the new Gale and also the new Ritual Monster. I don't think that new Ritual Monster is very good. I mean, it's decent, but I still think if you can build a Red Eyes deck, you might as well just play Dragoon Turbo, and it's probably even better. We're gonna do just that. We're gonna set a copy of Return of the Red Eyes just to get more bodies on the field. And then we're gonna set our World Legacy Flash and then end up. Opponent's gonna use their skill to add a whole bunch of cards to both their hand and the graveyard. And not a lot they can do to actually out the Dragoon other than to make their own Dragoon, so as long as we negate their fusion spell, we are kinda fine. He's gonna make Lord of the Red, which pops a monster and a spell trap, but Dragoon cannot be destroyed by card effects, so that doesn't do much. He can still pop our back row, which kinda is annoying, but after we negate their polymerization, they can't really do anything to contest our Dragoon, and he's gonna anyway. Okay, now third and final game, we're against another Red Eyes player, again using the new skill and the new Ritual Monster. And again, we are gonna basically save the negate for the polymerization, because that's like the only thing they can do to contest our Dragoon. We don't even need to worry about Red Eyes Fusion, because as soon as they summon any monster, they cannot use Red Eyes Fusion. Because during the turn you use Red Eyes Fusion, you cannot summon anything else. And in our deck, that's fine, because that's like the only thing we're gonna summon, other than the one Red Eyes Vanilla that we summon from our skill. But for his deck, he's gonna summon a whole bunch of other things. Also locks him from using really strong fusion. So he's gonna add a bunch of stuff to his hand again. And we're just gonna wait for him to use his skill. He's also gonna add a Dark Magician, that's cool. Again, adding the poly. He's gonna go inside and grab a copy of Return of the Red Eyes. Then he's gonna try to summon a copy of Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon, which doesn't really do anything. We will preemptively activate the Red Eyes Fang with Chain, just so when his monster gets summoned, we can then choose whenever we want to use the trap effect to equip. He's gonna try to pop our back row. We're gonna try to equip. He's gonna try to pop our monster. We can chain World Legacy Clash, and because the equipped target is no longer on the field, all the equipped spells go to the graveyard, and that includes our opponent's monster that we are attempting to equip to our Red Eyes. So that goes to the graveyard, his Black Metal Dragon goes to the graveyard, nothing resolves, and then we just win. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else I could show other than this, because that's just what this deck does, just to make Dragoon and win. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, goodbye.